You found the WMIX Saturday Sports Show on AM 940 and WMIXsports.com. Cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. The Saturday Sports Show has been recognized by the Illinois Broadcasters Association as one of the top radio programs in the state. That means the very best mix of local sports content is right here. From the powerhouse on Broadway, the Saturday Sports Show starts now.
Good morning. Hard to believe another Saturday here in the King City. Of course, the WMIX Saturday Sports Show on the air here on AM 940, online at WMIXsports.com. So glad to have each and every single one of you. Of course, Chris Hugo with Danny Zerwinski and Mike Richardson in studio. Should be a busy program for you today. And, of course, we're looking forward to the guests and talk that we will have here on what is a beautiful Saturday morning in the King City. Of course, the show each and every week is powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Let's try that one more time.
It's what healthcare should be.
Yeah, we're getting there, of course. Here in the AM studio, so glad to have you. And, of course, we'll be here for 2 hours until 10 o'clock. Before we get started, of course, we'll tell you our guest lineup today. You can find it on our social media on Facebook, facebook.com/WMIX Sports. We're on the Twitterverse as well, twitter.com/WMIX Sports, or better known to the youngins as at WMIX Sports. We're going to talk with Brad Beatty today. Of course, Brad named the head coach at Weber Township on the boys basketball side. Chad Harper, of course, took the assistant job at Woodlawn Grade School. So Brad Beatty, who was Chad's assistant last year, will take over for the program. You might remember him, of course, as not only the assistant at Weber last year, but having coached the Mount Vernon Rams freshman a few years back, as well as some grade school experience there as well. Looking forward to talking to Brad about his new experience with Weber Township. And then, of course, a new head coach for Carbondale football. It'll be Nick Hill, as named on Thursday night at a board meeting at Carbondale. We'll talk with Tim May, of course. He is the founder of a website that many high school sports fans frequent. It's IllinoisHighSchoolSports.com. We'll talk about their scholarship winners in 2013, as they will be announced in the not-too-distant future on the website, but you'll hear them right here today on the Saturday Sports Show. We'll talk with former Mount Vernon Ram basketball star Kyle Martin. Of course, you may remember he went on to Rend Lake College and then Greenville College. Kyle will be on a mission trip. It's a basketball mission trip to Mongolia. We'll find out more about that, of course, when we talk to Kyle in the 9 o'clock hour. Plus a lot of talk and our WMIX Sports social media question of the week coming up. We'll announce that here in just a little bit here on the Saturday Sports Show, of course. It's all powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. We hope you'll stick around. But unfortunately this week, and some that hit us hard here at WMIX Sports, of course, we did lose a broadcast pioneer here in Southern Illinois, and of course that was better known to many as Cousin Eddie. Eddie Allen, of course, passed away this week at the age of 80, but in terms of WMIX sports lore, of course, many may remember that he, of course, did Fox's Sports on WMIX FM. Of course, the McLeansboro Foxes way back when, of course, aired in tape delay after the Mount Vernon Rams. And, of course, for all those that knew and loved Cousin Eddie, that is a huge loss, not only in terms of radio, but humanity. Recent years, up until about 2010, Michael, you were a part of it. The Cousin Eddie show on sister station WMCL, did sports on Friday mornings, and just no matter how advanced in age or long in the tooth someone gets, it's still somewhat of a shock when they ultimately pass on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it's never easy when those things happen, and regardless of situations, you're never really ready for anything like that. And then when we heard the news the other morning, it was just one of those tough things you fight through, through the day, and it gives you a chance to reminisce and bring back some memories. And I can remember being set up and interviewed on his show, I think, and I think it had to be right around 2002, 2003, something like that, with some of the basketball program kids that we had taken around and traveled. He wanted to get a little more information on that, and then we discussed schedules and times, and was on his show for several years on Friday mornings, and had a blast doing it. And just what a great individual, and a pretty worldly person. We could just sit around and talk about anything and everything. So, yeah, that's just things that happen. That's reality.
Well, and it is. And, of course, you look at the fact of his involvement in sports and local sports, and, of course, a true pioneer in terms of WMIX sports, as we've branded ourselves now. And having done McLeansboro Foxes on the radio first in a color commentary role with Rick Wallace, of course, who used to pull mornings on WMIX, and then went over, of course, to the St. Louis market, still over in that market, and then eventually into a play-by-play role, and, of course, got to witness and got to be a major part of the 1984 run. and and having talked to many that have been involved, whether it's broadcasting much longer than myself, and of course Bo Meyer, of course, a big help this week in gaining some of that history and some of that knowledge, but just the fact of his fandom, and then the fact that he would sing on the air.
Oh, yeah, and his shows were unique, to say the least. He had a program Monday through Friday, and every day of the week was a different format. And I mean, he brought back old time radio. He really was big on local talent. He would have people that come on and would sing. He would, he loved local sports. Being a part of that with him for several years, I know how passionate he was about that. And we still hit on the national scene. I mean, being a big Cub fan that he was, he kept up on all the major sports, and he really, really enjoyed doing that for the people. But his big niche was the locals, and he loved it. We took several phone calls, and you hear people on the phone line, and unfortunately in this business you don't get to meet all of them. And the first things that come through my mind when I heard that the other morning was, some of the callers and stuff like that on his show that possibly he never met, or they basically never met him in person, just through the airwaves, and that's sort of sad in its respect.
Well, and it is, and you look at what he brought to the industry locally in this market, and just not an easy thing to accept, but ultimately Cousin Eddie, of course, a pioneer, and I call him the Cuz. I've actually only met Eddie once, but that was enough to leave an indentation in my soul, of course. But just kind of shocking this week, and I know that he had been ill, but I mean, when I saw that he had turned 80 this year, I think it was back in April, I saw it on Facebook. I was shocked then that he was 80, because anytime that you would see him prior, of course, to becoming ill, you would have never guessed that seniority in age.
Oh, exactly right, and he's had some battles. He's battled for the last several years, but always came out on top, and never gave up, and fought it till the bitter end. And it's just one of those things that you remember all the good times, and what he did it his way for sure on that program, and he touched the lives, the hearts of a lot of people, and definitely I think about him all the time, and that'll always continue.
Sure. And you think about the tie-in with McLeansboro, and having broadcasted the sports on the radio, and having been a fixture in that community, and the whole log on the fire.
Oh, yeah, the song he made, the whole bit. Absolutely.
And I guess in that 84 season, from what I was able to see, I think it was Jeff Morris maybe that mentioned it on social media, putting, I guess he would have a different log for every win in that 84 season.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. And I remember during the regional run they were making, his booth was set up, and when we had talked about it, years after the fact, of how that just the song just sort of materialized, and then, it's typical. You start something like that, you pretty well got to see it through. And he saw it all the way through with an undefeated state championship season. And we had talked about that many, many times, of how much joy that brought to him because of the team itself. But, and the Jerry Sloan situation, and Bobby Sloan was on the show for many years together with her as well, and lost her a few years ago. And, just a lot of things go through your mind when these things occur.
And they do. And, of course, Cousin Eddie, like a longtime fixture in Southern Illinois radio, and, of course, here at WMIX Sports as well. Our condolences to the family. No public, that's what I'm looking for, arrangements as of yet. There will be a public thing announced in the not-too-distant future by the family. But, of course, our best wishes to the family of Eddie Allen. He was 80 years old. We'll be back on the Saturday Sports Show. It's presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
Brad Beatty joins us next.
A digestive problem can affect every area of your life, but now there's a specialist right here in town who focuses on digestive health. Mayo Clinic trained Dr. Tegpal Atwal has opened the only gastroenterology clinic in Mount Vernon. Dr. Atwal treats acid reflux, gallbladder problems, inflammatory bowel disease, ulcers, and more. For your appointment with Dr. Atwal at Crossroads Specialty Clinic, call 618-241-9071.
It is time for fireworks, and Ford is setting off explosive savings. Hi, Roy Schmidt, Ford dealer at Ford Square, Mount Vernon. Ford has just kicked off their red, white, and used sales celebration. While sales have never been better at Ford Square, right now there are huge savings on the number one selling full-size truck, the 2013 Ford F-150. How about savings up to $10,000 on certain models? Tell me this is not a buyer's market. Wow. The savings on the F-150 will never be better, and now I have more good news. Our selection is second to none. We have regular cabs, super cab, crew cabs, 4x2s, 4x4s, whatever you need, we will have it in stock or find it just for you. We are rolling at Ford Square with a 2013 Ford F-Series truck, and we'll work hard to earn your business at 1501 Broadway in Mount Vernon, where the best never rest, and shop us online at fordsquare.com.
Hi, this is Joe David Cummins, President of Community First Bank. I can't talk about the high interest rate on our new One product because then I have to get into disclosures that are longer than my commercial spot. I will tell you that our new product, One, is simply the highest rate in the market. One way to find out more is to come in to any of our 5 Jefferson County locations and talk to one of us and find out why you should be One. You can talk to one of us by calling 244-3000. Let me say this one more time. One from Community First Bank. You will be one happy customer. Member FDIC.
And we welcome you back on the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX and WMIXSports.com. Glad to have you all aboard this morning on a beautiful Saturday in the King City. Chris Hugo with Mike Richardson and Danny Zerwinski in studio. And glad to have you with us. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at WMIX Sports. But the show today, as always, is powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Glad to welcome to the program now the new head coach of Weber Trojans men's basketball is Brad Beatty. Brad, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
How you doing? First of all, you have much experience, of course, in the grade school ranks. You spent some years as assistant, of course, at Mount Vernon. You helped out Chad Harper last year. You finally take the reins of the high school program there at Weber Township. How are you feeling this morning?
Feeling good about it. I'm excited. It's a great opportunity to take a program that's past 2 or 3 years not having much success, and my goal is to get them back to where they're at competitive level. Your goal is to every year to try to be in the top 4 in our conference. Special years when all the pieces are there, to compete for a conference championship and hopefully a regional championship. But overall, I thought Coach Harper did a great job last year of laying the foundation to start building on that. And so I'm excited about it. I feel bad. Coach he decided to step aside. He's a lifelong friend. He actually just lives right in my backyard. But hey, he's off to bigger and better things. He's with Coach Richardson there. That's like being with Coach Cal. So hey, he's pretty happy with that. So but. Overall, I'm excited about the opportunity.
Wow, Coach Cal.
That's all you need.
Wow, that gets my morning off to a great start, let me tell you.
Hey, I got to ask this. You coached at junior high, I believe, over at Dodds, got them to a state tournament, I believe, maybe 09, or no, let's see, 09, somewhere at Wren Lake with that group. You've also officiated at the varsity boys basketball level for many years. Now you're going into high school boys, coaching from that distance. How do those experiences help you going into this job as a head coach at Weber Township?
I've always said that I really, through refereeing, I thought I had a great deal of the way I coach. I got the opportunity every Friday and Saturday night to step in some of the gyms of some of the best coaches that this part of the state had to offer, and I kind of watched them. How, especially the ones that are real successful, how they ran their programs, things that they did, how they managed the game situations, and I took a little bit of everything that I seen from that made their program successful, and I kind of added that, the way I coach, and and on the other side I seen some things that didn't work, and so I think it gave me an opportunity really just to kind of reflect on how things, as you coach, things that work and things that didn't work, and I've added in my coaching philosophy, and I've always kind of held true to that, and so that's how I approach it.
As far as approaching this, and now you've been with your team, you just officially got hired this past Thursday. Looking to next year, how much time have you spent with your team this summer? Have you guys started that yet, or how long in the process are you?
That's the difference between last year and this year. Last year, Coach and I, we literally walked in the gym in October. I know a lot of teams are doing open gyms. We were doing handshaking sessions, introducing ourselves to the players, and them trying to get to know us and us get to know them and kind of find out, what their strong points was and what position they played. And this summer was actually able to hold a summer program, and I just we covered so much ground. I know the kids, their heads are probably still spinning from the amount of things threw at them, but it's just the situation. And I know during the summer, a lot of teams they play a lot of travel games, and I decided not to do that this year. We went and played a couple, but I thought we were better served just doing fundamental drills and staying in the gym and learning basketball lingo and all that. Just trying to catch up and cover some ground. And I'm really proud of the guys. I mean, they took to it, and you guys know how it is in the summer. The gyms are hot. The atmosphere is loose, and it's easy to call up and say, "Hey, Coach, I can't go. I've got something going on." But for the most part, they showed up every day and came in, worked hard for 2 hours, and we got some ground covered and got out of there. So I'm really proud of them in that aspect. So it was a good summer. I'm really excited to get the season started so we can implement some more stuff. But as far as that goes, it was a lot different than last year.
Season starting, of course, November. Weber Township, I'm guessing, is still in the Christopher Turkey tournament to open their season. As far as the schedule goes, have you messed with the schedule at all, or is everything basically the same for the upcoming season?
Well, we've added Gallatin County. Coach Radar down there, he does a good job. We're going to go down there and to play them. We've added Christ-Our Rock to the schedule. They just keep getting better and better every year. So that's two games that I'm kind of excited about. I think it's kind of an uptick for our schedule. But for the most part, it's the same. And that Christopher tournament's going to be tough. We're going to draw a lower seed and have to play one of those guys down there, because that last year it seemed like all those teams down there, they were all junior late, and so we're going to walk into a tournament that's got a lot of seniors on some very good teams. So it'll be a learning experience for us. But we're kind of in the same boat those teams was last year. We're going to be heavily junior with a few sophomores. So I'm hoping we take it as a positive experience and kind of learn from what those guys did last year. So we'll just wade through it, see how it goes.
As far as putting together a staff, have you decided on anybody yet, or is that still a process that's ongoing?
Process started Thursday, so I kind of wanted to. I've got a couple of fillers out there, but I kind of wanted to wait till everything was, ink was dry and all that. It's got to be a right fit. It's going to be a guy that's going to have to come in and we're going to do a lot of teaching. You got to be very patient. There's going to be a lot of bumps in the road. And so whoever it is, I got to make sure he's the right fit for the program, and the kids are on board with him. So we'll sit down and put some names on some paper and make some phone calls and kind of see what's out there. But I'm excited about that process too, because it's bringing somebody into the program that has got the like mindset that I do, and so we just want to make sure he's the right fit though.
Well, I know fundamentals is what you were talking about big early in the interview, and that starts with your grade school program. And I've watched from a distance in the last few years. You got some young men in the program at the grade school level that's getting a little more attention and working a little bit harder at basketball, and I think the numbers are up a little bit at the grade school as well. So that's got to be, when you rely like that, when you have in a community your own high school, you've got to rely so much on your grade school program. I think it's got to be a big plus for you in the next couple of years. It is,
and that's when I kind of seen this was coming on, where the coach was going to step down and kind of was asking my thoughts about it. I kind of laid a roadmap. I think coach needs a roadmap. If you're going to coach, I think you need to sit down and kind of map out exactly where you want your program to head. And that's one thing, and I'm big into this. I think you need to get down there and establish a good relationship with your junior high coach. I'm really interested in getting down there with our Pee Wee coaches, and those guys do a great job. And it's a tough job to be a Pee Wee coach. So I want to get down there and work with those guys and and make sure we're all heading in the same direction. And then not only that, I don't want everybody forgets about Farrington Grade School up there. They're part of our program, so I got plans on getting up there and visiting with them. I know they're trying to get their program up and going again, so I want to touch base with them. So I think that is so important as a high school coach that you do not forget those guys on there, because they're, if you got them fighting for you, your program will see success. And so I want to get on the same page with all those guys.
Same page for us, too. Our final question to you, and you get used to this as you join us here on the Saturday Sports Show, is our social media question of the week. And this week's question is, what place that you haven't been to yet would you like to travel?
That one's easy. I think I think if I could go to Paris, I think that would be the great thing, because you know how many brownie points you as a husband you can make with your wife if you take her to Paris. So I think Paris would be the destination I'd want to head.
Paris, Kentucky, or Paris, Illinois?
Oh,
Paris, France. Gotcha.
Paris, France is
okay. I got you.
That is a solid answer, and hopefully it'll get you some brownie points, Brad. Of course, best of luck to you as the new head coach of the Weber Trojans. Can't wait to have you guys on the showcase coming up in November, and we look forward to talking to you again real soon.
All right, fellas. I appreciate it.
That is Brad Beatty, of course. Good to see him at the helm of the Weber Trojans, and good to see him as the assistant coach to Chad Harper last year. And again, that program just needs patience, and a shot in the arm probably would help, but just a little bit of patience. And Chad did a lot of great things with them last year, and now that you have that tutelage, that type of mindset continuing on, no reason to think that they're not going to continue to improve and get better and see some success.
Stability.
There you go.
And that's what he's got, and he alluded to the fact of getting to know the junior high program, and I like what he said, because I'm such a big believer in that. The Pee-wee and your youth programs, how they're developed. It's just an age thing. You got to start somewhere, and you're in 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade. That's going to be your JV and varsity teams at your junior high level, and then the next step, obviously, is going right into high school. So, it's never too early to implement a system and to start looking at young men or women in your program at the grade school level. That's just stability, and he's a guy that's going to put time in. He's not looking to hop around all the time. He wants to get somewhere and get set and establish something for himself and the community of Blueford and be competitive. That's what he's got to do first. It's baby steps, but he's the guy that definitely can do that.
Definitely, and we look forward to talking to him again. We'll have him on, of course, over the course of the basketball season when it gets here. Hard to believe high school football will be here before you know it. We'll start our annual football previews on August the 10th. That's a Saturday. That's when we appear here on AM 940 and WMIXsports.com. This is the Saturday Sports Show presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
And when we come back, it's new coach of the Carbondale Terriers, Nick Hill, back after these.
It happens every spring. You need a great quality, new-to-you vehicle. There's a reason why Second Chance Auto has been helping put families into affordable, dependable vehicles for over 32 years. Honest, fair deals. Ain't nothing fancy, just great vehicles with warranties, honest deals, and bank rate financing for all. That's the only way Second Chance Auto will do business. And you don't even have to leave your home to get credit approval. Call Second Chance Auto at 244-4582 and get pre-approved right over the phone. They know bad things can happen to good people. Second Chance Auto, Route 142 East in Mount Vernon.
Your spine is a miracle of engineering, so when pain strikes, your body is telling you to get help fast. The Orthopedic Center of Southern Illinois is proud to feature their spine care team. And when there are back problems, pain is always a constant companion. The Orthopedic Center also specializes in pain management, so put our spine care team on the job. Find out more online at orthocenter-si.com. Stop the pain, fix the problem, and enjoy life again. The Orthopedic Center of Southern Illinois.
I'm Matthew Heller with a look at your next rad weather. Sunshine and some clouds today with a thunderstorm and a high of 88. Then mostly cloudy and humid tonight with a thunderstorm and a low of 69. And cloudy tomorrow with a thunderstorm in the afternoon with a high of 86. Looking ahead at the work week, on Monday it'll be cloudy with a shower or thunderstorm and a high of 89. Next rad weather from WMIX, Mount Vernon, Illinois.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX and WMIXSports.com. Chris Hugo with Mike Richardson. Danny Zerwinski, of course, also in studio with us this morning, powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
A privilege to welcome our next guest, of course, a famous DuQuoin Indian, followed by a Southern Illinois Saluki in the football program. Battled Joe Flacco toe-to-toe, of course, now the quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens in the playoffs, the collegiate playoffs, of course. He is Nick Hill. He is the new head coach of the Carbondale Terriers. Nick, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me on.
And always a pleasure, and it's a privilege to have you here on WMIX for the first time. But, of course, you come on as the offensive coordinator in the spring, going to try to commute back and forth to San Antonio where you're playing arena football. This kind of happens. Of course, the resignation of Coach Custer. You get the opportunity to lead the Carbondale Terriers, who have struggled somewhat since John Helmick left the program, 51 and 87 cents. But now's a good time to implement your offensive tutelage, and it's easy to see that with you at the helm, there will probably be nothing but success for the Terriers in the not-too-distant future.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I mean, it's kind of the way things have happened here, being, named the head coach like a little bit over a month before the season starts. It's been a little bit hectic, but the kids are working hard, and they haven't missed a beat, and we're getting some kids out, trying to get as many kids out to play football and get our numbers up, and put together a pretty good staff that I feel good about. And I'm just excited. It's going to be a fun season. Just like I played because I have fun. I have fun coaching, and I'm excited about finally getting to the season. And we have a lot of work to do as a staff as far as finalizing some things, but we'll be ready to go come the season.
I look at your experience, and you've been a coordinator for DuQuoin High School when AJ was there as a quarterback. You also were a coordinator in a high school in Florida. Schools were really bigger than Carbondale High School. How are those experiences going to help you, at least on the offensive side of football here at Carbondale?
I think that, all the experience is going to help me out as far as coaching, especially, the first 2 years that I coached whenever I got released from the Bears with Coach Martin. Just obviously, Coach Martin, I'm biased, but a lot of people would agree with me as one of the best coach in the state. Anytime that you can do what he's done, I don't care what level it's at. You're a great coach, and it's just not just the X's and O's, but the way he runs his program is one of the reasons why they have success. He gets everyone involved. His practice plans are detailed. Game day is detailed. Every kid, there's not a question on what's being asked of him. And that goes a long way. I've been in programs, too, where I've seen some head coaches, wherever it be, that aren't detailed, and there's, the kids pick up on that, especially high school, and they can get away with things, and they don't practice hard. But so that's the biggest thing with Coach Martin. And the other thing too is keep it simple. I mean, just like I'm saying, every kid knows what's expected of them. Everybody on that defense knows exactly what their responsibilities are. They're not trying to trick anybody. When you play DuQuoin, you know what defense they're going to run. They're just going to do it good. On offense, every coach around here has probably scouted them and been like, well, talk to their staff. Hey, they don't do a lot of things on offense. They're not, trying to trick us with formations or motions or anything like that. But Coach Martin has them coached up, and everybody knows exactly what they're supposed to do. So that's what I'll take most from Coach Martin. And then also just that he cares about each kid, and each kid knows that he cares about them off the field. And I want my players to feel that same thing, that the staff isn't just, care about them because they help them get them wins, or it's all about wins and losses. I want to get them involved in the community, and I want them to become better people as well. And then coaching in Florida, it was my first year as a coordinator where, really I implemented my own offense and, practice plans and broke down the games and did whatever I wanted. So that will be really helpful just as far as the flow of the game on Friday nights, calling each play and all of that. Now, I've never been a head coach, and I know there's, added responsibility as far as, you have to be locked into the game, time management and when to kick it and when to go for it and save your timeouts, when to call a timeout. So that'll come, though, and I've been around enough football as far as a player to go, and I always felt like I was locked into those kind of things. So, and I have a good staff around me that'll be helpful.
So staff is pretty well. That was my next question. Is your staff is pretty well put together at this point as far as getting ready for the first practice in August?
Yeah, it's getting there. It's about there right now. I mean, on varsity, Larry Warner, who everybody remembers playing at SIU, he's going to be a full-time varsity assistant. He brings so much energy just not only to football, but just to life. I mean, if you've ever been around Larry Warner, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, the guy goes 100 miles an hour all the time. The kids feed off of him. He's a great coach. So he'll coach the running backs, and he will coach the corners. And then Sean Smith, who I played with at SIU, who's going to be a teacher, he is going to coach the offensive line. He started for 4 years at SIU on the offensive line. I think he's going to be a good coach. He's been out there with us here the last couple of weeks, and he's doing a good job. At receiver, Luke Standiford, who played at SIU the last 4 years, is a student teaching at Carbondale High School, and he's going to help coach the receivers. He'll be there every single day, and I know him from being good buddies with my brother, and so he will be a position coach. I'll call the plays and be the offensive coordinator. Mark Albertini is on staff. He's been on staff for a couple of years at Carbondale. He played at Murfreesboro, and then he played at McKendree. He'll coach on the defense, and he'll come over and coach on the offense. Chris Apple, who played at Heron, he's a teacher at Carbondale High School. He graduated the same year as I did in 2003. He'll be coaching on staff as well on the the defensive line and coaching the tight ends. And then Sean Geralds from Carterville will be the defensive coordinator. So we have, and then we're trying to still piece together the lower level staff. So we have some guys in here that I think are going to do a good job, and so I'm excited about it.
So I know you're excited. We'll talk more about Carbondale football here when we have you on in a few weeks for our South 7 preview show. One thing I want to ask you this is, everybody sees arena football, and everybody sees the tightness and compactness and the quickness of it. Is there a way to describe it, as you were quarterback for so many years, how fast that game is as far as being out there on the field in the heat of the moment?
Not really. I mean, even from whenever I watch games on TV now, it seems fast on TV. It's really fast, but it's even faster out on the field. I mean, as a quarterback, it trains you have to get the ball out, and you have to be able to. What most people don't realize is that they can change up the coverages. A lot of times they'll come down. You obviously have the guy in motion. There'll be usually a guy, if they're going to play some type of zone coverage, where they try to disrupt that guy running full speed down the field, so they call it smack the motion. And then that's why a lot of young quarterbacks aren't successful and throw interceptions, is because that field is only, it's not that wide. So I think it's like 27 yards wide. And so you can throw a corner route, and the guy on the backside can come over and pick you off if you're not, if it's not on time. If the ball's not thrown on time and it's thrown a yard short, the corner is going to be there to pick it off. I mean, you got to be really accurate, and you got to make quick decisions. You can't. It's not like in the outdoor game where you have a second to take a hitch or two and then throw it. If you take one hitch and the ball's not coming out, then it's probably either a pick or a sack in the Arena League.
Speaking of that, and one more topic about professional football, you got an opportunity to actually be in a training camp. A lot of people in our listening area probably won't ever have that opportunity. They're on the other side of the fence watching a practice. Training camp in the NFL, how tough of a dog-eat-dog world is it in the NFL that we may or may not know of just from watching it on TV?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think that the Hard Knocks, on HBO does a pretty good job of just showing the life of the training camp. But I mean, it's cutthroat. I mean, it's especially when you're one of those players like I was, as far as just trying to make the cut. I mean, you might go, especially as a quarterback. Say you're in camp with Aaron Rodgers. He's going to take all of the reps, and rightfully so. I mean, it's his team. He has to be ready to go. Even if you're a backup quarterback, your reps are limited if you're the number 2. If you're the number 3, you might get, on a regular day that's really Aaron is the starting quarterback's taking reps, you might get 1, 2, 3 reps for the entire day. So you have to be locked in, and you might get 1 or 2 opportunities. Now, there's other times that they'll give you some more reps, but and the amount of football that they throw on you in an install. So, as far as high school or college, we might install 1 or 2 concepts in a day and then build on that each day. I mean, the playbooks are so big, and the quarterbacks and really all the positions, the knowledge that you have to retain and be ready to go at any time is a lot. I mean, you have to study for hours and hours and hours, and really the only way to get good at it, like anything, is go out there and actually perform it, make a mistake, and then get better at it. So, it was fun to me, though. I learned a lot about football and schemes and blocking, and because that's the one thing. I mean, the biggest thing that I always see and argue with people about is like the quarterbacks. Now, you have to have a good offensive line, but a lot of those sacks are on the quarterback. Someone like Aaron Rodgers, that's just a starting point with that play that he gets. And he puts his line wherever he needs, and he sees it, and he knows exactly what's going to come, and he'll make adjustments and put his offensive line in the right protections to protect himself to make throws. Now, a young quarterback, he's just going to let it go, and the defense coordinator has him dialed up, and you're going to get sacked. So it's not always about, who's got the best offensive line, and that quarterback is big in protections too.
See, I knew you'd stick up for the quarterback. I knew eventually at the end you would eventually go quarterback. Hey, I got to ask this. How's the golf game, though, right now?
Well, it was getting pretty good, but I haven't played in the last 2 weeks since I found out that, I was going to be taking over. So this fall, I don't know how much time I'm going to have to play, but I just got new irons, so they're just sitting here, and I've not even used them yet, so I need to get out there sometime this weekend.
Hey, I got a group that would love to bring you in, because your brother-in-law's already in there. We'd love to have you in our group.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm ready to play. You just got to let me know.
Hey, well, so Tuesday and Friday for some people, like you and I talked this week, they only have certain days they can play.
That's right. Yeah, like him.
Yeah,
he's on babysitting duty.
Right. The other, because you had you were welcomed into a new niece here last week or 2 weeks ago. So he's been too busy. Your brother-in-law has been, but our group plays every day. He plays Tuesday and Friday. Just text me and let me know. We'll get you in. Trust me, with the people we play with. Hey,
good.
No, most definitely. Our final question. You'll get used to this as you come on our show. We have a social media question of the week, and this week's question is, and I know you're a guy that's traveled everywhere in your football career and everything, but what place that you haven't been to yet would you like to travel?
I've been to. I was one day on the plane. I was traveling somewhere. I don't even know. I was trying to write down all of the places that football is. All the cities that I've played in, and I want to go. I've never been to San Francisco. I was right outside San Francisco because I played in San Jose and I played in Stockton, California, but I've never been to San Francisco. I'd like to go to San Francisco. Pretty much everywhere else I've played or I've been, whether it be basketball when I was at Western Kentucky or playing AAU basketball in high school or playing arena football for 4 years. We play in all over the country. So I've been in New York City and I've been to Los Angeles, all the major places. I've never been skiing in Colorado. That's another place that I want to go. I've been to Denver to play basketball, but I've never got to enjoy just the vacation life out there.
Huh. Get your brother-in-law to help you out with that.
Yeah, I will.
Oh, wow. Nick, San Francisco's a beautiful place. I know you'll love it when you eventually get there. We're looking forward to your trip to Mount Vernon, of course, in Week 6 this football season.
Right.
We'll talk to you well before then. But best of luck to the Terriers. Good luck over the short summer that you do still have. And we look forward to talking to you again in a few weeks when we do our South 7 preview.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
That is Nick Hill, new head coach of the Carbondale Terriers, of course. As we told you, you're going to have quite the oops, it helped if I turn off the right button. Hey, that happens sometimes.
Shout out Paris, Tennessee.
About Paris, Texas. That was one that was left out earlier.
Yeah, but Paris, Tennessee can hear us.
Oh, okay. Well, that will happen.
Yeah.
That has happened.
Yep.
And will happen in the future as well. But Nick Hill, of course, takes over at Carbondale. And, of course, worth noting, 51-87 since John Helmick retired as coach, or left Carbondale, I should say. Football program. Of course, Fred Hines did an admirable job. Custer, of course, took him to the playoffs twice. They've had 3 postseason berths in that time. But then you kind of look forward to what Nick Hill and his youth and his experience brings to the table.
It's going to be a quick staff. It's going to be a young staff. They're going to have to learn on the fly. They're going to have to use every bit of playing experience for themselves at the high school, college, and in this case, a pro level, because this is a time frame that's not ideal for anybody or everyone at Carbondale. You're going to have to pick it up, and it really is kind of like arena football. Everything is so scaled faster because of the time frame, and in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, practice starts, 6 weeks for the first game, and their schedule is brutal. Everything's speeded up here in this situation.
Well, and you take a look at his assistant coaching staff, not only surrounding himself with some guys that he's familiar with, of course, a couple of players from Southern. You heard the name Gerald's, of course, from Carterville. That's like Smith in Carterville, but familiar with success there. You have Chris Apple, who we mentioned from Heron, who walked on as a tight end at Southern, played in a state championship basketball game. I mean, so you have that familiarity with success, and I wasn't able to retain all of his assistant coaching staff, but those are the names that stood out to me.
Albertini is
huge. How could I forget that one?
Because, I mean, he's been, he prepped at Murphy, played at McKendree, and then has been on staff here at Carbondale for many, many years in multiple sports, and now has an opportunity for himself to be a defensive coordinator, because Carbondale's former defensive coordinator was hired in Anna Jonesboro earlier this week. So Mark Albertini gets an opportunity as a younger guy to put his stamp on things. And as a head coach, you can't be over everything, every play call, everything. You've got to have guys underneath you can trust and that can call and do things you can observe. Nick's going to have the offense. Mark Albertini's going to have the defense. So 2 guys that know a lot about football, played a lot of football, and should do very well.
Well, and expect to do very well. So the Terriers will be in Mount Vernon, of course, in Week 6 of this high school football season. We'll talk with Nick Hill again when we preview the South 7 Conference. Of course, our football previews will begin Saturday, August the 10th, and you're looking at a situation where the season starts a week later this year because Thanksgiving, because of the calendar rollover, is later this year technically. So you go 14 weeks back from Thanksgiving, and it happens to be the kickoff date of August the 30th. Mount Vernon Rams will travel to Rochester. We'll have that game for you here on AM 940, video streaming capable on WMIX Sports.com. We need to take a break on the Saturday Sports Show. When we come back, it'll be the godfather of Illinois High School Sports.com, better known to you as IHSS. It'll be Tim May, Nashville native, on the program as we take a quick break. The Saturday Sports Show is powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
The health of your kidneys has a big impact on your overall health, affecting everything from your blood pressure to your bones. And if you ever have a kidney problem, Dr. Kangura is here to help. Dr. Kangura trained at the Mayo Clinic and specializes in conditions ranging from kidney stones and uncontrolled high blood pressure to chronic kidney disease. Dr. Kangura sees patients at Crossroads Specialty Clinic. For an appointment, call 618-241-9071.
This is Chase Landers with Landers Collision Centers. It's been said that in order to grow, you have to change. Very rarely anymore do insurance companies ask the phrase to go out and get 3 estimates. The new phrase insurance companies are asking is, would you like to take your vehicle to one of our direct repair facilities? This is a way for your insurance company and collision repair center to help relieve the stress you may have from your unfortunate incident. And, as Landers Collision Centers has adapted to this forever-changing industry, we are extremely happy to announce that we are a direct repair facility for over 10 different insurance companies. It's likely that one of them is yours. From dealing with your insurance company, setting you up with a rental vehicle, lifetime warranty on repairs, and of course, Landers free lifetime detailing for qualified customers, Landers Collision Centers literally takes the stress from your incident and turns it back into a shiny new ride for you to enjoy again. Landers is here for you whenever you need us. Big or small, Landers fixes them all. 1 Landers. That's 1-888-LANDERS.
State Farm, this is Jessica.
Hey, Jessica, Jerry Newman. Does State Farm offer more discounts to more drivers?
Yep, like the good driver discount.
So it's for good, but not great drivers.
No, Jerry. There's also the multi-line discount.
For calling from multiple lines while driving.
You should never use a phone while driving.
I only make calls from my car when I'm stuck in a ditch or something.
Are you in a ditch?
Yes, I am.
State Farm offers more discounts to more drivers than any other insurance company. Get to a better state.
One more reason to call State Farm agent Tony Wilton Mount Vernon at 242-1421.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show on WMIX and WMIXSports.com. Glad to have you with us, courtesy of Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Chris Hugo with Mike Richardson, and of course Danny Zerwinski is in studio. About tripped over that for some reason. That's never happened. That's odd. But anyhow, here we are. Of course, Tim May unable to join us this morning. Of course, the founder of IllinoisHighSchoolSports.com. Annually, it's basically, I guess, a synopsis of what IllinoisHighSchoolSports.com is. It's a website and more specifically discussion board / forums designed to engage in discussion of high school sports. And Tim May, the founder of that, of course, IHSS originally started as a free message board, I believe, founded in 1999, modern era, of course. That was as a boys basketball board. And then, of course, Chip Jamerson had founded a girls basketball message board. Well, Tim May, Chip Jamerson meet up at Eastern Illinois University, living in the same hall. Of course, both still administrators of the website today. They merged the websites into one, known as IllinoisHighSchoolSports.com, back in 2001. And since, I believe, 2003, have annually awarded scholarships, I believe now around the total of around $40,000 with this year's awarding of scholarships. So, of course, discussion on that website takes place over all the sports seasons and even some professional discussion, college discussion, things of that nature. But case in point here is that there is a fee annually to post on this message board, and those proceeds, of course, go to scholarships. And this year, the 6 were chosen. Of course, there's been some local flavor the past few years to gain a scholarship from IHSS, but DC, of course, we are a part of the administrative panel and get to select these scholarship recipients year in and year out. That in itself is a big honor, but that in a nutshell is what the IHSS scholarships are about.
Well, it's important that a website like this that does take money for memberships puts the money to use. Obviously, there's merchandise. There's, you can buy hats, golf shirts, T-shirts, pullovers. That money, and of course, membership money it's put in year after year for our members goes to these scholarships. And ever since I've been a part of it, it is a very difficult task to pick scholarships from a list of applicants that are unbelievably qualified. But obviously, when it comes down to things, and it's a very tough task, we're happy at IHSS to be able to give out money for scholarships and to help students who have participated in sports and meet the criteria that we have enlisted to be able to use that money to help further their education.
Of course, with this scholarship program, we've had valedictorians, we've had near-perfect ACT scores, we've had various financial needs. We've had, of course, recipients from Jefferson County. We've had recipients from all across the WMIX sports listening area. So it's a very prestigious scholarship in its own right now in the state of Illinois.
No, and some of the qualifications, you have to have it no less than a 3 on a 4 scale or 4 on a 5 scale. You have to have a minimum score of a 21 on an ACT. You have to be involved in lots of, things, obviously academics, athletics, extracurricular, maybe community service. And we base a lot of other things on as far as, what's going to happen over the next 2 to 4 or 5 years for the student. There's a lot of criteria that goes into this, but those are the main things you have to hit. Of course, filling out the paperwork as well, and then we also give a special scholarship, the Steve Reinecker Memorial Scholarship as well. So we keep in mind every little thing that's involved in that process, and that is why it's such a difficult time to choose people for these scholarships.
It's certainly not an easy decision. And of course, there's a little war room set up every year, usually in June. This year it was backed up to July for various reasons, but I'm not going to announce the winners on the air here today.
No.
Since Tim wasn't able to join us, we'll announce them on the website, IllinoisHighSchoolSports.com, in the coming weeks, and tell you that we will tell you that Franklin County, Jefferson County, Perry County, and Sangamon County, as far as the WMIX listening area are concerned, will have recipients of the scholarship. So that'll be announced on the website. Instead, we're not going to announce them here today with Tim May, the founder, unable to join us. So there you have that. We're going to take one more quick break, and when we come back, we're going to tease a little bit of discussion here on the Saturday Sports Show, promote the rest of the show. This is the Saturday Sports Show presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
We'll be back after these.
Learn to live well, and learn how you can live free from unexpected medical expense with a major medical expense policy from Pekin Insurance and the Page Agency. Health insurance that covers hospital, medical, and surgical expenses offers a wide choice of deductibles and a non-tobacco user discount too. Rising medical costs don't have to be a problem with a major medical expense policy from Pekin Insurance. This is coverage we hope you'll never need, but you just can't be without. Call the Page Agency at 242-7000 about a major medical health insurance plan today.
What does technology sound like? Is it the clang of heavy machinery, the beeps and chirps of an electronic gadget? At the new Good Samaritan Regional Health Center, technology sounds a little something like this.
It's the sound of a young girl excited because her mom's being released the same day as her minimally invasive surgery. Thanks to the Da Vinci surgical robot, our surgeons' hand motions are seamlessly translated into smaller, more precise movements. But surgery isn't the only way Good Samaritan is raising the bar for advanced healthcare in Southern Illinois.
That's the sound of a patient's health record being updated and stored electronically for immediate access by nurses, primary care doctors, and specialists alike. That's why soon, the new Good Samaritan Regional Health Center will use all electronic patient health records. Less paper translates to faster, better care for you. And that sounds a little something like this.
The new Good Samaritan Regional Health Center, raising a hospital, raising the bar.
Southern Illinois now has a better home for sports. It's the all-new WMIXsports.com. Jam-packed with local scores, video highlights, and archives of every local sports broadcast on WMIX. Did your team win? Missed that game-winning shot last night? Didn't catch your favorite coach on the Saturday Sports Show? WMIXsports.com is right at your fingertips. On your computer, your smartphone, your tablet, or your video game console. It's the all-new WMIXsports.com. Another free service from Withers Broadcasting.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX and WMIXsports.com. Glad to have you with us as we approach the 9 o'clock hour here on the program. Chris Hugo with Mike Richardson and Danny Zerwinski in studio for you here today, of course. Kyle Martin still to come here on the show in the 9 o'clock hour. We'll talk about his basketball mission trip to Mongolia, and I believe he leaves next Saturday. Of course, we'll find out for sure from Kyle, who you may remember. He is a Mount Vernon Ram alum. Played basketball here, of course, for Doug Creel and Scott Gamber, then walked on at Rend Lake College, and, of course, went on to Greenville College, where he recently graduated. So, Kyle, of course, pre-med. I'm sure he'll continue on with his education. We'll find out all of that. We'll catch up with Kyle Martin and talk about that basketball mission trip in the not-too-distant future here on the Saturday Sports Show. But beyond that, we still have our WMIX Sports social media question of the week, which is on Facebook right now. You can also find it on the Twitterverse at WMIX Sports. But which place have you yet to travel? That you basically, where do you want to go? Where do you most want to go? A place that you have not been yet. And thinking about this and not really having a lot of time to think, I guess we could go ahead and give our answers now to this question. DC, it was kind of your brainchild. Where would you most like to go?
Anything sports-wise I haven't been to.
Simple enough.
Yeah.
I had a feeling that's what it would be. Solid. Mike?
Well, it'd have to be sports-related, obviously. Been fortunate to be in New York City, the greatest city in the world, several times to watch Yankee baseball, and also to Cooperstown, to the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. But I guess just have to return to see new Yankee Stadium. Been to several games at the old stadium, but have not yet been to the new stadium, and probably need to get that accomplished here soon.
Solid. I would like to go to every Major League Baseball park. I've been to some already. There are some I still need to hit. Actually, a vast majority that I still need to hit. I've been to some. I would like to go to those again and just kind of make it either a marathon tour, or if I have to take a few 10, 20 years to accomplish it, But there are some that I would like to get to, and some that I'd like to go to again, especially PNC Park in Pittsburgh. Just a beautiful park.
Beautiful.
Pittsburgh
Beautiful.
often is thrown in that Cleveland category as far as cities are concerned, but Pittsburgh is a beautiful city.
Totally changed. Totally changed from yesteryear to what it has been the last several years. And their sports complex there is absolutely amazing with the baseball park and Heinz Field.
Oh, yeah, Heinz Ford Field.
You could not ask for a better facility with those two basically side by side with what they've done in that area, accessibility for that, and the party atmosphere and the restaurants and the nightlife and things like that. They, give them credit. They've done it the right way there for sure.
Pittsburgh, of course, is a great one. A park that I have yet to go to that I would love to get to. I've already missed out on Stadium Olympique, but I would love to get to the Rogers or Sky. I'm still going to call it Sky Dome. I don't care. I'm not a naming rights guy, if I can't remember exactly the nomenclature. But Toronto would be a nice one. I've never been there. Pittsburgh I have. I'd like to go again. Obviously, I've never been to New York. I think that would be nice as well. I would love to go to L.A.
Geographically, I mean, when you really start breaking it down, I mean, you can accomplish a lot in a few-day period, really.
Yeah.
And if you
have to be
can't,
efficient.
like you said, if you can't do it all at once, you can space that over some years or whatever. But geographically, the way it is, too bad that all the sports aren't done geographically, the logical way that we would do it. But that's another story at another time. But there's some fun road trips out there that can be several things accomplished along the way.
Efficiency is the key, and I'd also love to go to Cooperstown, especially when Maddox goes in.
Well, we're going to have the opportunity, when several years come up, and I've already thrown the gauntlet down, and I know it's going to happen, but 5 years from when it's official, the guy, which there'll be, I think I did the calculations, there'll be 5, maybe 6 people will not put Mariano Rivera on the first-time ballot for induction into the Hall of Fame. I think their ballots need to be taken away. Their process, their credentials should be taken away. And Maddox will be up, before that. So,
yeah. Well, the thing with Mo, you got to put him on because he is. I mean, he threw a ball through the arches of Bush too, through the arches.
Yeah. I mean,
who else has done that? Forget about the 8,000 saves.
And it's not only that; it's the humanitarian that he is, the spokesman for, do you really say it for baseball as much as he shies away from the limelight that he's been, put upon himself for the role that he's in the baseball city that he's in. But I just have a hard time, and I know it's going to happen, and he's not going to be the only one. There's going to be a handful coming up that, will deserve to be first time from every ballot. And it's obviously, we know, as we said here, it's not going to happen. You're going to have some of the crusty old guys that just won't think that they're deserving of that. But I just think that is absolutely an impossibility.
There you go. Those are our answers for the WMIX Sports Social Media Question of the Week. Not surprisingly, they are sports-related for us. What's your answer? Which place haven't you been to would you most like to go? Simple as that. WMIX Sports Social Media Question. Answer it on Facebook, facebook.com/WMIX Sports. You can also answer via the Twitterverse. Follow us at WMIX Sports. It's good enough for Jose Bautista at JoeyBats19. Surely it's good enough for everyone else as well. When we come back, we'll talk with Mount Vernon Ram alum Kyle Martin. Of course, walked on at Rend Lake College and went to Greenville College as well. We'll talk about his basketball mission trip to Mongolia. It's all up next on the Saturday Sports Show, powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Register for fall courses right now at Rend Lake College. Over 100 degree and certificate programs means Rend Lake College can put you on the fast track to a new career or continued education. RLC is more affordable than four-year universities and private schools, saving you thousands on your college education. Registration by appointment continues through July 26 with trained academic counselors who will keep you on the right track. Call Rend Lake College at 437-5321, 437-5321, or log on to rlc.edu.
America's best music and talk. AM 940 WMIX Mount Vernon, the Withers Broadcasting Station.
The golden rule. Treat others how you would want to be treated. Do you feel that's the kind of service you're getting from your pharmacy? It can be hard to find good customer care nowadays, but at the Medicine Shop Pharmacy in Mount Vernon, that kind of service is our #1 priority. You have options when it comes to your prescription and medical equipment needs. Don't put up with poor service and long waits anymore. It's easy to switch. Call me today and let me show you why the Medicine Shop should be your new pharmacy.
As you just heard, pharmacist and pharmacy owner Eric Black is committed to taking care of each and every customer that walks through his pharmacy doors. Stop by anytime and talk to Eric and his pharmacy staff. You'll soon find out why the Medicine Shop is your hometown pharmacy. Support the local community and give them a try. You'll be glad you did. Don't forget to take advantage of their free delivery, custom compounding service, medication planners, and so much more. The Medicine Shop Pharmacy, 2339 Broadway in Mount Vernon.
I'm Matthew Heller with a look at your next rad weather. Sunshine and some clouds today with a thunderstorm and a high of 88. Then mostly cloudy and humid tonight with a thunderstorm and a low of 69. And cloudy tomorrow with a thunderstorm in the afternoon with a high of 86. Looking ahead at the work week, on Monday it'll be cloudy with a shower or thunderstorm and a high of 89. Next rad weather from WMIX Mount Vernon, Illinois.
And we're looking back on the Saturday Sports Show on WMIX and WMIXSports.com. We're going to work at getting Kyle Martin on the program today. Of course, Mount Vernon Ram basketball star went on to Red Lake College and Greenville College. So we'll try to catch up with Kyle, of course, going on a basketball mission trip to Mongolia. And, of course, would love to find out more about what that's all about here on the show today. But, of course, a lot going on in the world of sports. Hard to believe that the high school sports seasons will be back upon us before you know it. We'll let you know our full broadcast slate as soon as we get the fall sports schedules from NVTHS. Hope to have those early next week. But we do know Mount Vernon Rams football, thanks to the IHSA, heads to Rochester on Friday, August the 30th. 6:40 will be your pregame time here on WMIX and WMIXSports.com. Of course, we'll have video webcast and as well as a mobile-capable audio broadcast, as you became accustomed to last year. But that'll all come on Friday, August the 30th. We'll let you know our Lady Rams broadcast slate once we have the volleyball schedules and fall sports schedules from MVTHS, as well as some new facets coming to our broadcasts over the coming year that we're excited about. We'll introduce those as it is necessary. And don't forget, we'll introduce you to some great football programs with our football previews coming up in just a few weeks. Saturday, August the 10th, we'll start off with our 3-week basically cruise through the major conferences here in Southern Illinois, as well as talk to some other area coaches and media brethren here on the program over the course of a few weeks. So, exciting times ahead as we get back to normalcy. Summer will be gone before you know it. We'll be back into the high school sports season, though it is a week later. So, all of that said, did I even say that we're brought to you by Crossroads Community Hospital? Did I go there?
No, not yet.
Oh, it's more than hospital.
It's more than hospital?
Uh-huh.
It's what healthcare should be.
There we go. Beautiful. Oh, man. So, we'll try Kyle Martin again here in a little bit, of course. We told you about the IHSS scholarships. We'll announce those on the website now. Of course, Tim May had something come up this morning as well. That is the joy of the summer. But it's a great time of year, and of course, it's a beautiful Saturday. Should still be a fairly warm day here in Southern Illinois. But all of that said, it's about time for high school sports to start back up. Of course, many of them have gone over the course of the summer. And, of course, we're going to try to talk more in depth about this new heat acclimatization. I thought it was acclimatization for the longest time. It's acclimatization having to do with heat and what you can do over the summer. Of course, that's been an on and off topic since it was announced back in the late spring, of course, for us. But all in all, we'll continue to discuss that topic as well as some other topics. We have some interesting things in store for you, of course, for the coming weeks until we get to those football previews. But it's the summer months. There's a lot going on. And, of course, at Green Hills Golf Club today, there's a pretty major golf tournament going on, but here locally there's a pretty big golf tournament going on as well at Green Hills.
The SIGA championship has teed off. I know Percy Pipes, Hall of Famer, was the honorary starter of that one from number 1 tee, and a lot of your solid, salty SIGA golfers, names that you're familiar with reading in the paper, will be here today and tomorrow playing for that prestigious championship. It rotates between golf courses about every 3 to 5 years. This year it's in the backyard down at Green Hills Golf Course, which is in magnificent shape. And you have that going on this week. And then next week you have the Gold Cup in Benton. So 2 significant golf tournaments on the SIGA calendar today and next Saturday.
Well, and, you think of the Gold Cup. I mean, obviously the SIGA championship's an important deal, but you think in terms of local golf lore, the Gold Cup has always been one of the more prestigious tournaments there, of course, at the Benton Country Club. Always synonymous with my birthday. That's how I always remember when it is, because it's usually around the weekend of that. And, the Gold Cup, a big deal on the schedule of the Southern Illinois Golf Association. Of course, Tommy Portner came home with a big honor recently as well in terms of golf. I've been trying to catch up with him.
He played actually at the Illinois State Am this past week in Rockford. Some Southern Illinois guys went up there. I know Mr. Navarro from Murfreesboro was there. I remember the SIU golf team, and Tom Portner was there. Of course, they're coming back, and I'm sure, when you look at the list, it's a men's event this week at Green Hills, and that's a lot of the names that you hear about. I mean, there's some other guys in there that, we hear from time to time as far as names in the list. Brandon Bullard's one of them. Tom Portner's one of them. I know there's other guys in there that just guys that you know and have heard of that are going to play a golf course that I had an opportunity to play last week. Just phenomenal shape, and I got the list of names here now in front of me. Mount Vernon's Trevor Flota's teed off in it. Tom Portner's in it. Barry Craig, a guy everybody knows from Southern Illinois lore. Jason Drew is another one. Jared Harp. B.W.
Nice.
Bruce makes a run.
Wow.
He comes from Marion. Nick Tannehill, who's playing collegiate golf at UIS. You go down the list. Murphy Hart is in it as well. Some of those names that people remember. Then you get to the juniors. Colton Pavloff, a lefty from DuQuoin, is playing in this one. Nate Neal, Anthony Harper, of course, and Tommy Williams and Brandon Bullard also in the list. The first tee time this morning, as I look, the first group has already went off, was 8:34. And what they're doing is they're going in groups of 4, 8:34, 8:42, 8:50, 8:58. Then they're going to take time to kind of let that foursome get ahead so they don't have slow play. And then there's another group coming through of foursomes and stuff. So first group's already teed off at 8:34. The last group will tee off at 11:54. Today and tomorrow, golf tournament action at its highest for the SIGA Championship out at Green Hills.
Well, and certainly a big one on the calendar. Last week was another big one at Green Hills, so certainly a busy summer for them. And, of course, the Gold Cup at the Benton Country Club will be next week on the SIGA schedule. So Southern Illinois Golf Association, certainly a lot of local names and a lot of local interest there. And you see these names in print, you hear these names mentioned, and you certainly hear that some of the big names in SIGA are playing in this tournament this weekend.
Well, I mean, it's an opportunity. I mean, you get your name on that trophy with 89 years of lore in the Southern Illinois Golf Association. That just adds to the list. And obviously, the hometown guys, Green Hills members, are going to have an advantage. But the way the rough is, of course, this year, if you can't grow grass, you need to find another occupation with the summer heat, humidity, dew, and rain. Just the greens are in phenomenal shape. They're going to be quick. They're going to be firmed out a little bit, so it's not as easy to land the ball on the greens. And putting's going to be like putting on wax-top cars. The rough's going to be hectic if you get in it. So this golf course is set up. It's a prestigious tournament with the SIGA Championship, and we'll see on Sunday evening who decided to play the best.
Well, we will see, and of course we'll find that out. It's late tomorrow. Southern Illinois Golf Association Championship going on at Green Hills Golf Club this weekend. Of course, the Gold Cup, the prestigious Gold Cup, will be at the Benton Country Club next weekend. And, of course, we'll tell you more about that later on the Saturday Sports Show. For that, we need to slip in a quick break here on the Saturday Sports Show, powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
Hi, this is Joe David Cummins, President of Community First Bank. By now you have heard about our new One Checking product. The new One Account is a high-interest earning, free checking account designed for everyone. Unlike other banks that pay interest on higher balance, this account pays interest on all balances. From high schoolers to Warren Buffett, One will work for you. You can talk to one of us at 244-3000 and learn about the details. One, exclusively at Community First Bank. You will be one happy customer. Member FDIC.
A digestive problem can affect every area of your life. But now there's a specialist right here in town who focuses on digestive health. Mayo Clinic trained Dr. Tegpal Atwal has opened the only gastroenterology clinic in Mount Vernon. Dr. Atwal treats acid reflux, gallbladder problems, inflammatory bowel disease, ulcers, and more. For your appointment with Dr. Atwal at Crossroads Specialty Clinic, call 618-241-9071.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX and WMIXSports.com. Chris Hugo with Mike Richardson and Danny Zerwinski in studio for you, powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
Glad to welcome to the program. He is a Mount Vernon Ram you will know and remember, of course, from recent years. He is Kyle Martin, went on to Rend Lake College and then Greenville, and now is going on a basketball mission trip to Mongolia. Kyle, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
First of all, for some of our listeners, and admittedly, I don't know a lot about this trip you're taking, this mission trip you're taking to Mongolia. First of all, when do you leave and how long are you going to be in Mongolia? Kyle, you with us? Well, it seems that we had Kyle, and then I think we lost Kyle, so we'll work on getting connected with Kyle again, of course, as he will have a basketball mission trip to Mongolia coming up, of course, over the coming weeks. It'll be a pretty lengthy trip, and it's going to be a spiritual journey, of course, combined with the glory of basketball. So there you have it. But, of course, anytime you can go on a mission trip and do service that way, of course, obviously it's a great thing. And I think those who know and remember Kyle Martin remember him as a great kid that went through Mount Vernon High School and went on to Rend Lake College in Greenville. So obviously a great thing. And anytime you can do something like that, and Mike, you can attest, and anytime you do something in the world of basketball and do something positive outside of sports, obviously it's a great thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's just probably, the more so the introduction of the thing, the basketball leading into obviously the bigger thing that's on the minds of everybody when you go on those trips. But I catch him at the Y working out. We see each other a lot, so I know he's been working hard, to prepare for this. So hopefully that'll all go well.
Well, we hope it will as well. Kyle, you back with us?
I can hear you, just barely.
Okay, sorry about that. Not sure what happened there, but we will get that taken care of. And now you're going on a mission trip to Mongolia. And for those who may not be aware of what that is, how long are you going to be in Mongolia, and when do you leave?
I leave next Saturday, and I will be there for just over 3 weeks.
Wow, so a pretty lengthy journey. And how do you combine basketball into a mission trip that is also serving the Lord? How does that all work?
Well, the way it's going to work is the team that I'm going with, when we first get over there, will be landing in Ulaanbaatar, which is the capital of Mongolia. And in the first few days, we will be playing the Mongolian national team, their nationals. And after the game, for anyone who's come to the game, after the game, we will be sharing Christ with them. We will be sharing our testimonies and sharing the gospel with them. And then aside from that game, we will be hosting clinics for younger kids, and that will be a combination of teaching the kids how to play as well as sharing the gospel with them. And then aside from that main game and those clinics, we will also be playing games in more rural communities in the country, where we will be doing a lot of the same sort of work.
So how many people do you think that you'll be able to witness to after these games? Are they expecting full crowds in these games? You're taking the American game over to Mongolia, as I understand it, and then you'll be able to share testimony as you have various clinics and things set up. Are they expecting a lot of people? Or how does that all work? I mean, is this just something that they promote over there that you guys are coming in?
Yeah, they've promoted it. We've sent pictures of ourselves and height, weight information, and they've compiled a brochure over there, a pamphlet for when we come to town, so that they'll know where we're from and they'll know what we're about. And there should be a sufficiently large crowd at that very first game while we're there. As far as other games along the way, I'm not exactly for sure, but I know that they're anticipating a rather big crowd for that very first game.
Now, how did you come upon this opportunity? Is this just something gentlemen across the nation have congregated together, or is this just a local type thing? How did you embark upon this journey?
Well, the organization I'm going with is called One Challenge International, and they have a subsidiary branch called Sports Ambassadors, and that's the group I'm going with. They're based in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And the way I came about this trip was Greenville's men's basketball team is going with a similar organization to Costa Rica later this summer. And I had just been talking to my coach about really wanting to, finish out on a high note. And I wanted to be able to turn the gifts that I've been given, playing basketball, turn it back over to the Lord one final time. And so just through talking to Coach Barber at Greenville, he gave me some contact information and got a hold of the director, and he gave me a couple options for different trips, but he said he really needed me for this one, so I just jumped right on board.
Well, will this be the only basketball mission that you do, or will there be other opportunities along the way for you?
I'm honestly not sure. I'm just going to go on this one first and see what happens. Nothing is set in stone after that, so...
Packing, preparing, and gaining knowledge about Mongolia, the culture, traditions, and otherwise, how much time have you put into that as far as getting ready for this trip?
I mean, a sufficient amount. I wanted to know what kind of culture there was there. I mean, it's like a primarily nomadic culture, so I also, check things like the currency exchange rate and, population and just different cultural things that I might come across while I was there.
Well, and of course, while you're there, it seems to be a different world over there in Asia. But as you go on this mission trip and embark upon this journey, where will you leave from? Do you get to leave from St. Louis to go directly over there? I mean, what does your flight situation look like?
I fly from St. Louis to San Francisco, and while there in San Francisco, I'll spend a day and a half there, and I'll get to know the guys that I'll be playing with, and we'll kind of have a, training session where we'll kind of talk about what to expect and what specifically we will be doing as far as the ins and outs of the ministry. And then from San Francisco, we'll be flying out to Ulaanbaatar, and that's the flight.
How long of a flight do they estimate that will be?
I'm thinking around 12 hours.
Wow. I mean, that makes sense to have to fly the distance for it to be that long, but that is quite the lengthy flight. But Kyle, obviously this is a great opportunity and a great chance to be an ambassador for the Lord and get to spread the word, of course, in Mongolia. But I remember you from your days as a Mountford and Ram not that long ago, but you went on to Rend Lake and then went on to Greenville College. As far as your education, I think at one time you were pre-med. I'm not sure if that's still the route you're taking or not. What does your collegiate future hold for you?
Well, after this trip, things are somewhat up in the air, but I'm just kind of trusting that God is going to lay things out each and every step of the way. I graduated with a degree in biology from Greenville, so whenever I get back, unless things change, I still plan on pursuing a medical route. I've been studying when I can for the medical school entrance exam this summer, and then I'll just see how things unfold from there. Nothing is set in stone, but I'm not worried about it.
Well, and it certainly sounds like, and you always have had a great head on your shoulders. One question is our final question. We ask every guest this every week. It's the WMIX Sports Social Media Question of the Week. You kind of inspired today's question. Obviously, you're going to Mongolia, but what is one place that you haven't been to that you'd love to go to? Maybe somewhere you've always wanted to go, but just haven't been able to.
I think it'd be really cool to go to Israel.
Nice.
And just kind of see, where some of the stories of the Bible took place, just to kind of, get a brand new perspective on the Christian faith, and seeing it's a whole different thing to read it, but actually see where it took place would be really, really cool.
That is a heck of an answer, Kyle Martin. Obviously, we wish you the best of luck and a safe flight and safe travels, but I know you're going to do well over there and be successful. I just want to thank you for taking the time to join us and wish you the best blessings as you embark on your journey.
Thank you very much for having me on. I appreciate it.
That is Kyle Martin, Mountford and Ram, class of 2009, if I'm not mistaken. Some of the classes tend to run together, but Kyle Martin's always a kid who stuck out, a very hard worker, and just a guy that always put everything into anything that he was doing. And when I found out about this on Twitter, I think it was Jabo actually that had brought it up to me, among many others. I ended up having about 5 or 6 other people tell me about this pretty neat thing. But Kyle Martin, a very hard worker for Doug Creel and Scott Gamber both, and then goes on and walks his way on at Rend Lake, and then that ends up in an opportunity at Greenville College, and that's just kind of an evidence of what faith and hard work will do.
Well, then getting hooked up with a guy like Coach Barber. I mean, what a great human and a great individual. For what he's wanting and getting and going to achieve. If he has any questions about anything, and I know Kyle would seek answers from Coach Barber for sure. He's quite an individual, and he's touched a lot of young men's lives, and will continue to do so. And my involvement with him the last several years, with young men and basketball camps, and he graciously, as always, given us 10 or 15, 20 minutes of his time during a basketball camp to I always like him to talk to our kids about things in life and things of that nature. So what a great guy, and I know Kyle has enjoyed his stint at Greenville College for sure.
Well, what always set Kyle apart for me, every time, was the fact that he was in high school. I think my first experiences might have been maybe his sophomore, junior, and senior years. But seeing a kid that age come up to you, approach you, making direct eye contact, carrying the head high, and then reaching out for a handshake, I mean, that's something you don't see often out of that peer group. And that's when you kind of knew that this kid was kind of a different mold than many his age, and he transitioned well into college. Of course, I mentioned pre-med. He ended up with a degree in biology from Greenville, and as you heard, is going to try to enter into medical school. So it's good to see him having gone on to great things, and always a pleasure to talk to our kids as they become adults, and that is what Kyle Martin is now. So
absolutely it is. And you said something that's very true. It's just we should be talking about the ones that we know don't do those things, yet singling somebody out that but it's just the way the times are. I just a few years difference, but it's amazing how things have changed. But yeah, it is. It's amazing now. We really recognize the ones that show the respect to people of a little age or whatever. It is amazing.
So hopefully safe travels for Kyle Martin. He said a 12-hour flight from San Francisco into Mongolia, and of course that'll be a 3-week trip, and hopefully they'll get the word out and be successful, which I know they will in their mission. We need to take a break on the Saturday Sports Show, of course. When we come back, plenty more sports talk coming your way. It's all coming up next, powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
Southern Illinois now has a better home for sports. It's the all-new WMIXsports.com. Jam-packed with local scores, video highlights, and archives of every local sports broadcast on WMIX. Did your team win? Missed that game-winning shot last night? Didn't catch your favorite coach on the Saturday Sports Show? WMIXsports.com is right at your fingertips. On your computer, your smartphone, your tablet, or your video game console. It's the all-new WMIXsports.com. Another free service from Withers Broadcasting.
This is Chase Landers with Landers Collision Centers. It's been said that in order to grow, you have to change. Very rarely anymore do insurance companies ask the phrase to go out and get 3 estimates. The new phrase insurance companies are asking is, would you like to take your vehicle to one of our direct repair facilities? This is a way for your insurance company and collision repair center to help relieve the stress you may have from your unfortunate incident. And, as Landers Collision Centers has adapted to this forever-changing industry, we are extremely happy to announce that we are a direct repair facility for over 10 different insurance companies. It's likely that one of them is yours. From dealing with your insurance company, setting you up with a rental vehicle, lifetime warranty on repairs, and of course, Landers free lifetime detailing for qualified customers, Landers Collision Centers literally takes the stress from your incident and turns it back into a shiny new ride for you to enjoy again. Landers is here for you whenever you need us. Big or small, Landers fixes them all. 1-888-LANDERS. That's 1-888-LANDERS.
Hey, welcome back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXsports.com. Glad to have you with us. Hope you enjoyed our guests today. Of course, Brad Beatty, new head coach of Weber Township. Nick Hill takes the helm of the Carbondale Terriers football team, and then Kyle Martin embarking on a mission trip, a basketball-related mission trip to Mongolia. And, of course, Tim May will catch up with him in the future and talk about the IHSS Scholarship Program at IllinoisHighSchoolSports.com, of which Tim is the founder. And, of course, Rams football will be here before you know it. First game on Friday night, August the 30th, 6:40 will be your pregame here on WMIX. Video and audio broadcast, webcast, I should say, mobile capable at WMIXsports.com. We'll have the volleyball slate once we get said schedule. Of course, high school football previews here on Saturday mornings will begin on August the 10th, so it'll be here before you know it, of course, in future weeks. Avery Barton with us as well. I'm Chris Hugo, Mike Richardson, and Danny Zerwinski in studio. Of course, one thing that was underwhelming, as we just kind of had an overwhelming conversation in a good way with Kyle Martin, the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Of course, was that this week?
Tuesday.
Really? Mm-hmm. Doesn't seem like it. Seems like it was forever ago. It was that bad. I didn't like it at all. Mike, you probably had a different thought process. Obviously, you know I'm not very much of an AL guy. I love the Rangers. But I will say what I don't understand. Of course, you had Mo Rivera honored. Got to walk out to Enter Sandman. Nobody else on the field. Why the 8th inning?
Well,
I don't get that.
I can tell you in short term.
I don't even remember who closed the game.
Well,
Nathan.
Yeah, Joe Nathan.
Hot dog.
It's okay now to come back and listen to Leland's explanation, and he's said it enough now that he's got everybody else saying the same thing. To me, absolutely made 0 sense. 0. But
should never taken away his smoking rights in the dugout.
I think what the things that what people are missing, that if they would have got in trouble in the 8th, you could bring Mo in right then, but they were so hung up on wanting to do playing his music and coming in on a clean inning. I understand all that because I get to see that, every Yankee game at home. But I don't. I'm just still trying to get my head around it. I accepted it. He was honored in a great way. I thought it was so classy of how they went off the field and let him be on the mound, alone by himself. But you still got a ball game to win. That's the thing. And the 8th inning versus the 9th, if that's their story and they're sticking to it, I go with it. But I'm really having a hard time, really, really understanding that. If you don't have any more confidence in a pitcher coming up and thinking he's going to blow four runs, you're not saying much as a manager if you don't get him out of time to let that happen.
Other than that, and then the military honoring before the game I thought was really cool, where you had a representative from every baseball market there, and then an all-star from each team presented them with a flag from their country. Even Canada represented through Toronto, of course, and Jose Bautista presented the Canadian flag. But all in all, I thought that was the neatest thing ever. And you could hear through some of the players that were mic'd up some of the conversations being had. And Brandon Phillips, I thought, and I know he's kind of an enemy to many in Cardinal Nation. I've never understood that. If you follow him on Twitter, you'll love him instantaneously or instantly. But I liked his conversation, and I mean just the sincere gratitude that he had for the representative of the Cincinnati market in terms of wounded warriors and things of that ilk, but just the number of battles that had been represented. And I thought Major League Baseball did that right.
That's one thing that was fantastic. To do that and to honor, I do give Bud Selig credit to his staff for doing that. That's absolutely tremendous, because you get a touch of that again in Yankee home games. They do that on the 7th inning stretch. They do that every game with 2 people involved with the military as an honor, individual names and what they did, what campaign they were in. So I'm sort of used to that a little bit. And for baseball to further that in with the All-Star game and each city having a representative from there, I just thought that was a super, super class act.
Class act indeed. And Major League Baseball got that right. I still think the All-Star game is somewhat of a farce. Hate to be that way.
Well, Danny and I went through that last Saturday while you were gone and pretty well expressed our opinions on what it was and how it was done and handled at different things, and that's never going to change for me. I think I think us three could create a more exciting all-star game for sure, and do a little alternative meaning to the game itself, and not rest assured for home field advantage in the World Series, which shouldn't have any bearing on anything, but we beat that to death. But the couple of new touches, with that military display, I thought was tremendous.
And it was nice, and it was a very touching tribute and a very touching ceremony. And one thing I've never liked, I used to as a kid, but now that I'm older, I don't like it anymore, is having any type of broadcaster where you sync the audio on the broadcast to the public address system in the stadium and having your lineups and players announced that way. I don't particularly care for that anymore. But I don't know. That used to be my favorite part, was seeing every player announced and they would come out. But it's like even that's kind of lost its luster to me. It just seems like the interest isn't there anymore in this game, at least for me.
I think there's just some of the bad negative things that's went on the last several years about the All-Star game. That's carried over to some people who still enjoy certain things. I've always said the pageantry, the colors. I hated it a few years ago when it was in Houston and they wore the National and American League uniforms. I didn't like that at all. I want to see the color. I want to see all the different colors, and I want to see all the different hats. I want to see every uniform on that field. That's what I want to see. I like that. I don't want them to be uniformed up in National and American League uniforms and hats. I think that's just absolutely boring. But, it is Bud Selig's child, and it's his baseball, his name on it. So it's going to be done until something changes.
Home run derby passe? Has it passed its time?
Wow.
Done.
I can't stand.
Too long.
Yeah.
Takes too long. Too many swings. Cespedes is hurt now. Can't play. So, it's lost its luster because, it's an event that takes way too long, too many swings, and you got announcers on there that drive people bonkers. There's not, they're going to have to do something with that format, because to me the home run derby has really just plummeted and there's nothing left.
Have you guys ever seen in archives, Major League Baseball ran it for a couple of weeks, and I didn't pay any attention this year if they ran it again. But did you see the original? Have you guys ever seen the original home run derby?
I happened to catch a few episodes. I think back when the Fox Sports networks, the regional networks, were just getting started. I think they did that for they have the Boys in the Hall now. Yeah. But back then they would air some of the original home run derbies. Those were neat.
Yeah, I mean, totally different. It's one-on-one, so you have to fill a half-hour show and with commercials and stuff like that. But just even in tweaking the home run derby a little bit, it's way too long. And then you get a guy that's on, like Cespedes. I mean, he quit when he wanted to quit, basically. It didn't matter. But I think you got to do it. It's almost, you should take that as you do batting practice. Batting practice, if people don't get to games early enough to watch, they go in certain rounds. You get your swings in, you get your bunting in, you get a few long ball swings in, then you start, playing game situations. But utilize your swings and cut that down instead of like 10 outs. Maybe cut it down to 6 or something like that, and let that guy rest up, and then get another guy in and have maybe 3 or 4 guys go in a round. But speed it up a little bit. But I think the way the fans are and the ticket sales on that Monday, they throw in right before that, they throw the celebrity softball game in. So you're sort of revved up a little bit for that.
I love that.
But boy, I tell you, it's just way too long. And after I hear my first 3 or 4 backs, the volume's going down a little bit on the TV, and we're sort of channel surfing a little bit then too.
I love the celebrity softball game. I know that comes as no surprise. I mean, that's probably my favorite aspect of All-Star Weekend. You have your regulars that you see every year, but then you have obviously like maybe the celebrities that are famous to that hometown. I didn't think that as far as athletes were concerned, I guess Doc Gooden and Darryl Strawberry were in it, and Piazza as well. But I mean, normally it feels like you see more athletes from said city, but.
Well, since they got Ricky Henderson there, that takes up 2 or 3 spots.
I figured Ricky would wear a Yankees hat just because they were in New York, but I guess not.
I don't know why he didn't do that, because he's done it in the past, But I don't know why he didn't there. But
maybe just because he's a Hall of Famer now and that's his cap. I don't know.
It could be, and then you don't know what Ricky Moody was in, obviously, at the time.
That's true.
And Andre Dawson, it's always nice. Raleigh Fingers is always a classic. With the mustache, you never forget him, and so it is. But it's fun to see that mixture. And this year, they had some Wounded Warriors in there and playing as well, and that was very, very nice gesture on their part. But any little thing that you can anytime you can get fannies in the seats and get those type of people, that is fun for a crowd, and I still enjoy that immensely.
How competitive was Mike Piazza? He wanted to win that celebrity softball game.
Oh, he's still chomping at the bit. He wants Jenny Finch to really get on the mound and throw to him.
Yeah, he was upset.
Yeah, he is still not over that a few years ago, and I got news for him. He's still not going to hit it. He can get upset all he wants to, but he'd never touch her. That's just all there is to it.
Yep. Of course, he did cork a few down the line, though.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even remember who pitched for the AL. They had a couple of different people in and out, but there you have it. I thought the celebrity softball game was probably the best aspect outside of the military honor prior to the All-Star game itself, but a rather forgettable one outside of Mo in the 8th inning. So there you go. We can take a break here on the Saturday Sports Show. Plenty more sports talk to come after the break. Brought to you by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
The health of your kidneys has a big impact on your overall health, affecting everything from your blood pressure to your bones. And if you ever have a kidney problem, Dr. Kangura is here to help. Dr. Kangura trained at the Mayo Clinic and specializes in conditions ranging from kidney stones and uncontrolled high blood pressure to chronic kidney disease. Dr. Kangura sees patients at Crossroads Specialty Clinic. For an appointment, call 618-241-9071.
America is a nation on wheels. Everyone has at least one automobile. We use them for shopping, work, everything we do. But they can be a threat. Some accidents can't be prevented. Your professional Pekin Insurance Agency, Page Insurance on Crown View and Mount Vernon, can help protect you from a large financial loss when an accident happens. Call Page Insurance today at 242-7000 about low-cost auto insurance from Pekin Insurance. Ask them about the many money-saving discounts that are available. Depend on your hometown professionals.
Pekin Insurance.
I'm Matthew Heller with a look at your next rad weather. Sunshine and some clouds today with a thunderstorm and a high of 88. Then mostly cloudy and humid tonight with a thunderstorm and a low of 69. And cloudy tomorrow with a thunderstorm in the afternoon with a high of 86. Looking ahead at the work week, on Monday it'll be cloudy with a shower or thunderstorm and a high of 89. Next rad weather from WMIX, Mount Vernon, Illinois.
And we welcome you back to Saturday Sports Show, WMIX and WMIXSports.com. So glad to have you with us. Brought to you by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
Of course, it is a busy weekend in terms of professional sports as well. Of course, you had the All-Star game this week. As we head into the weekend, you have the Open Championship at Muirfield, and I believe they, obviously, of course, the time differential, they get started what would be relatively early to us, but all in all, should be another interesting Open Championship as it heads down to the final stretch today and tomorrow.
Well, Tiger's tied for the lead now. He's 1 under through 2 today, and I love watching golf over there. I mean, it's the way golf should be. Golf was born in Scotland, and it's a little bit rough course, dried out, hard course, but some of the pin positions have been unfair as far as being on knobs and hills, but boy, this is fun to watch. I think golf is good on TV when you have it early in the morning like this, or you have primetime golf, whatever the case may be, where you can watch it in the morning, go play, come back in, or vice versa. It allows an opportunity for golf fans like myself to get some watching in, go play, and then come back in and watch it again.
So Tiger tied with Miguel Angel Jimenez at the top leaderboard, Dustin Johnson and Martin Laird, and Lee Westwood a stroke back. But some who's who.
If he could find his putter, if Lee Westwood could find his putting from 6 to 10 feet, he'd probably already have a couple measures. That's what gets him right now. Today, right now, he's even par through 2. I believe he's playing with Tiger. Him and Tiger have had some classic battles over the years. Jimenez is even today. He's tied at the top. Martin Laird's making a run at 1 under. And you look through the board, there's not many people under par. Hunter Mahan, Hideki Matsuyama is under par. Sergio Garcia is 3 under. He's finished. He shot 3 under this morning. Snedeker shot 2 under this morning. So, I mean, you're looking at guys, the way this course is set up, the longer the day goes, if they hand-watered the greens, it's going to soften them up a little bit. But this, you can't play the way we're used to over here. You got to play some bump and run some irons and run them down the ground. You can't carry the ball into the green there. this is what makes it fun to see guys like this have to use every element of their skill bag to get through a round of golf there at Muirfield.
Well, and you go to the Sunday afternoon now into Sunday evening. Well, actually, probably earlier, but anything better than golf on a Sunday, especially during major championship week? I think not. I think it's exciting, especially the Masters and then the U.S. Open, and then the Open Championship, and finally you'll get to the PGA Championship later on. But just exciting times, and to see it over there in the birthplace of golf is incredible.
Well, listen to some of the guys talk about it on other networks, and I really like to hear Rick Riley talk about things. He was mentioning that he's seen, and whether it's just been in the last few weeks, but he's seen a different demeanor in Tiger Woods, and he said he is really, really laid back this time. He's been very cordial to the media. He has given more interviews. He's actually been chirping and quipping a little bit on his practice rounds with fans along the sidelines and things like that. And, maybe not putting so much pressure on himself and really having to grind these first 2 days out. Maybe this will get him over the hump and get that next major for him. He knows what's ahead of, and he did have a nice pace to the game the other day. He didn't have to force a lot of things. The driver's been in the bag. He's able to do things with long irons because of the hardness of this course and the way the ball flight's been going. He can do a lot of things that other people can't, and he's very creative. Phil Mickelson's very creative with some of his clubs as well. So this is a fun one to watch. I like the fact that it's wide open, and sometimes you can just let it fly and see what happens.
Well, and see what happens indeed. Any favorites, of course? I mean, obviously, you take a look at the top 10, you're like, oh. But maybe out of having seen the leaderboard through the first two rounds and coming into today's action, there's some guys finishing up, some guys already done. Any favorites in tomorrow?
The golf course.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. This tournament,
Absolutely.
This tournament doesn't. You can't just go in and say this guy's going to shoot 3 or 4 under because you don't know. It's a golf course. It's going to take care of people. To me, it's going to be the guy that comes up. I mean, Darren Clark 2 years ago, prime example. Ernie Els last year wasn't even in consideration. I mean, he kind of snuck his way, backdoored his way in when Adam Scott went down. So this is not a who's going to win the tournament. It's kind of like the golf course is going to win. Then who's ever left standing is going to take home the Clare Jug.
I think that just the confidence factor, the Tiger's put himself in this position now. The last handful of majors, he's fought competitively and being sort of in control of things after the first 2 rounds, and then he stumbles the next 2 days. I think confidence-wise for him, if he can get through this first 9 and get accustomed to how hard the greens are firming up right now and keep things in the fairway, I think he's got a real legitimate shot. Not sure how far Garcia's back right now, but you shot 3 under today. You're getting close. Can he do anything in tomorrow? He may be too far back. Cabrera, he has a mentality of a slow pace, can play this golf course, but it's just going to be who's confident at the right time, because you're not going to be able to make up shots just at the snap of a finger on this golf course. It's not going to happen. And what are there? A handful of guys under par right now, and that may dwindle each day that we go to the final day on Sunday.
You have to play backwards on this course. Okay, you have to think, all right, my ultimate goal is obviously to birdie. Where can I land my second shot? Where can I land my first shot? So you got to play some backwards golf in your head, because you can hit one. Average longest drive is 385 this week. You can hit one that far, but you might end up in a gorse. You might want in a pot bunker you can't get out. You got to play it where, you got to figure out backwards how you're going to play this course strategic-wise in order to get that ball to stop. Because the key is to get it to stop. Here in America, with all the grass, it will stop. This course is baked. The greens are going to be hand watered, which will help a little bit, but the fairways are going to run. So if you hit one really far, is it going to run into the gorse? Is it going to run into the bunkers? You got to play ahead and behind in your mind what can happen as far as your drive, your approach shots, and how you're setting yourself up for here and beyond.
Well, and that makes all the sense in the world. And, of course, it should be an exciting day on Sunday at the Open Championship at Muirfield. Looking at the leaderboard, Tiger now in sole possession at -3. Looks like Jimenez has fallen back a stroke now. He's +1 for the day now, through 9, I believe.
Yeah, he's not off to his usual self, it doesn't look like. I'm just reading the scoreboard, but the key with Tiger, and you know if he's got something going on, is if he rips one off the tee, he spins the club, picks the tee up, and takes off. If that is what's going on, where he doesn't have to look at it, that's the key with Tiger. Because if he's got that going on, it's going to be a long weekend. It would be amazing to see him win one, because I'm sure, again, where's he won his British Opens? On hard, dried-out golf courses. That's where he's at today and tomorrow. They've had a hot, dry summer. That's where he's at. It's set up for him if he can do it. But, Westwood's grinding. And, again, with the Andy Murray winning Wimbledon, Westwood to win this would be, the kingdom over there would be in an uproar. So, Tiger is he's going to play the heel in this point because, Westwood's going to be the face that everybody roots for over on that side of the pond.
No doubt about that. And, of course, I would love a lefty-Tiger battle tomorrow. Of course, lefty looking back 3 shots off the pace. Tiger is -3. He is -1 for the day. Plenty more to talk about on the Saturday Sports Show. One more break left to take here, powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
A digestive problem can affect every area of your life. But now there's a specialist right here in town who focuses on digestive health. Mayo Clinic trained Dr. Tegpaul Atwal has opened the only gastroenterology clinic in Mount Vernon. Dr. Atwal treats acid reflux, gallbladder problems, inflammatory bowel disease, ulcers, and more. For your appointment with Dr. Atwal at Crossroads Specialty Clinic, call 618-241-9071.
Even with summer here, there are not enough hours in the day. Whether it's a family vacation, the kids' camp, or a busier work day, we're all busy all the time. Hi, Roy Schmidt, President at King City Chrysler Center. Since we have started the Chrysler Express Lane service, our service business has increased dramatically, and our customers love it. Chrysler's Express Lane fast oil changes and more is very convenient at any time during the day. No appointment necessary. Just drive up and our Express Lane advisors will get your vehicle right in. Convenience is the name of the game at King City Chrysler's Express Lane oil changes and more. Come by and see us at 1603 Broadway in Mount Vernon, Illinois, and keep your vehicle in top running condition at King City Chrysler Center, where you can count on us.
You can count on us. Yes, you can.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX and WMIXSports.com. Don't forget the WMIX Sports. There's a theme here. Social media question of the week. It's on Facebook. It's also on Twitter as well. And we want to know, where haven't you been that you'd most like to go? Almost said two after that. Almost ended the sentence in a preposition. Probably not a good thing. But anyhow, you can find that on Facebook and Twitter. Give us your answer. We'd love to know. We've had some very intriguing answers thus far. Paris, San Francisco, Israel amongst our guests. Of course, sports-themed here in the studio. And then you can find the rest of the answers on Facebook. I think I've seen Derek Jeter's house. I've seen Orange Beach, I believe, among some other answers. So feel free to participate in the discussion on Facebook, facebook.com/WMIX Sports. Got done talking about the Open Championship. We talked the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Just some random notes, I suppose. The NHLers will be back in the Olympics this coming winter. So
renamed the divisions.
They have. How about that?
Boring. They were going to go with names of hockey players, which I think they should have, but decide amongst the geographic/metropolitan names. I think names of hockey players of lore, like maybe Howe, Hull, something like that would have been good, but I think they're going with geographic divisions as far as what they're doing. Of course, they'll have the break in between for the Olympics in Russia in February, where everybody will go and play and take a couple weeks off the season, so we'll get a little extra hockey next year for all the people that like the hockey sport.
That'll be exciting. Of course, I did see some of the geographic names. What was wrong with Norris, Patrick, Adams, and Campbell's conference? Smythe, thank you. What's so bad about that?
Because they've already used them. They want something different. it's just, Gary Bettman. What can you say?
I remember one time we ranked the commissioners in pro sports, like our top
David Stern.
number one. Yeah, but none of them are as glamorous as they used to be. Goodell was like my number one back then.
Well, he's a 2 now because he's got to. I think he's got to go back and crank down the off the field activities of people. Maybe get a little rougher with them. Then, boy, Bud Selig wears me down.
You kind of have Bud Selig and then Gary Bettman tied for people you really don't want to vote for.
Right.
It's like you don't want to place them. It's really just a battle for number 1 and number 2.
Right.
As far as Goodell and Stern, who's outgoing. But, yeah, and of course...
Well, I think it's also, football right now is just off the charts. I don't even think it's on an island all by itself. It's the money revenue, the TV exposure, the rights, all the things. Football is just on another planet right now. I think now you're looking at the other 3 vying for the, to try to get caught up. And, boy, there's just so much going on with basketball and the free agency, and they called it collusion in basketball or in baseball several years ago, but it seems like it's an open term anymore for baseball. You're already talking about free agencies and clubs looking to go and reestablish themselves in a year or 2. You would got fined to that several years ago in baseball, but I guess it's okay to do it in basketball now.
Well, and kind of going back to hockey a little bit, playoffs are going to be similar, but they're going back to 2 divisions, going back to the 2 divisions in each conference. And it's going to be awkward to see Detroit no longer grouped with Chicago and St. Louis.
That's a mistake.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's a mistake in that division.
But, and going back to football being on an island all by itself, you have to give a lot of credit to its popularity. But, man, there's just a lot going on right now that makes you question professional sports in general. Hopefully you don't question the Saturday sports, so they'll be back next week, of course, here on AM 940 and WMIXsports.com. You can listen to it on any device at WMIXsports.com. And, of course, Rams football, Mount Vernon Rams will return on Friday, August 30th. St. Louis Rams football will be here before you know it. Preseason play in early August. I believe August 8th will be their first preseason game. That'll be here on AM 940. You won't want to miss that as well, as we are also your home for every St. Louis Rams football game. We'll have Lady Rams volleyball coming up before you know it. You'll be able to find schedules for all of these once we get them ironed out on WMIXsports.com. And, of course, we near the end of the show today, but back again next week. And then the football previews start on August the 10th, in addition to just getting set for the high school sports seasons, which will be here before you know it. Before you know it.
Soon.
It's hard to believe. And it's later, but it just feels like it's coming more quickly. And that's probably the craziest thing about it. But so thankful you took the time to tune in to us today. We hope you'll be back next week. In the meantime, stay in the discussion on Facebook, facebook.com/WMIX Sports. You can find us on the Twitterverse as well. We hope you'll take the time to give us a follow there. We've had some interesting follows in the past couple of weeks. And we hope you'll be one of the next new followers of WMIX Sports on Twitter. We're back here next week. Don't forget, in the meantime, of course, WMIXsports.com is always there for you. St. Louis Cardinals baseball action today against the San Diego Padres. You'll find that on 94.1 WMIX FM as we continue to strive to be your best broadcast home for sports. So that's all coming up ahead. Thank you for tuning in today. We will see you next week, same time, after the 8 o'clock news right here on WMIX.